Good morning, everyone. Ho, ho, ho. Not morning where you're at? That's okay, because you could have eggs for breakfast, lunch, or dinner. Welcome to episode 25 of Three Eggs Are Better Than One. I am Brad Stanton, along with fellow eggs Matt M. and Brian Haremsa. We would like to thank all of you for the positive feedback from last week. We hope you enjoyed a little bit of satire. But let's go ahead and get right into it with the good news. So, who's up today? Matt, what's your sunny side up?
All right, guys. I have actual, honest to God, sunny side ups today. Three of them. Number one, I would like to commend my friend and Eggs listener, dedicated Eggs listener, Jimmy James C. He has completed tracking 10,000 steps a day for 1,000 days in a row, which is 2 years and 9 months. He did not miss a day of making at least 10,000 steps a day. That is 10 million steps at minimum over the course of the last 2+ years. And he's got three children. They're all young. This is a very impressive, rain, snow, sleet, hail, sickness, health. I'd like to commend him. Little round of applause.
Well done. That's
It's a good sunny,
dedication.
it's a good sunny setup. Now, a tiny bit similar to that, the weather has improved. I have resumed jogging.
I love that you call it jogging and not running.
Well, I'm trying to be honest.
Because this tells me everything I need to know.
Trying to be honest about
Or
it.
is it more speed walking? You can be
Yeah, I
honest. It's
mean,
okay.
Are you going like this, with
it's
your
better
arms?
than
Yes.
it's better than speed walking. No one's gonna slow down and look at me like, what is that guy doing?
Yeah, that is a nasty
Yes.
thing.
I mean, today certainly wasn't my best time, but it was the first one in quite a while.
Not about time. Just relax and do it.
And my last note here is just a little news story I came across on Instagram or something. It was a short video reel, and I thought, that's a sunny side up right there. So there is this bookstore in Michigan that was moving locations, and they had to move 9,000 books. So they formed a human chain with about 300 people and just lined them up. And the stores were I'm sorry, I don't remember the distance, but a couple blocks away. So they lined up 300 people on the street and just passed all the books down in a human chain instead of having to box them all up and carrying them because books are heavier than you think they are if you box them up. And it was kind of a cool little video, kind of a nice little community thing happening there. I thought it was kind of neat how that's how they transfer their inventory.
Very cool. Very
Yeah.
cool.
So I'll try to remember to
Where'd you even
post.
find something like that?
It just came up on social media. I wasn't looking for
I
it.
mean, how in the world are you not? I mean, you had all this wrestling to watch. How did you have time for anything else?
I saw
I,
that story too. I saw
Get
it
the
on
hell out.
social
You
media.
didn't definitely didn't see that story.
Yeah,
You
I
were
saw it.
watching wrestling, and
I
wrestling's
was.
wrestling.
That's true. I was. Yeah,
I don't know.
watching a lot.
It made it into the algo. I don't know. Now it's
I
gonna
didn't
make
see
it
it.
into yours. Now it's
Mm,
gonna make it into yours.
Yeah, it's probably already hears it. Very good, Matt. I like it. Sunny side
Yeah,
up. I
I
mean,
did
I was
it.
a little hard boiled that you wanted to go with three of them, but it was okay. It was
Oh,
okay.
they made him quick.
Yeah. Mine is very short and sweet though. I've been talking about Frank. I've been talking about Frank. I've been talking about Frank, and that is coming up, and we're all very excited. But I should be talking about Lotus too. Lotus just finished her first year of nursing school over at Pitt. My wife is out at my parents right now, picking her up this weekend. So she's packing her up in the next couple days and moving her back. She did get a new apartment for next year, but hey, she's coming home. She's gonna be in Argentina for 6 weeks. Nothing like a $6,000 party, huh? Actually, she's a good kid. She's probably gonna do what she's supposed to do. But yes, I'm very excited because like we always joke, we're empty nesters to a point. Because my daughter Kendall's home a couple days a week. Frank, I don't know what he might be home for 5 days. Who knows? I don't know, 10 days. But at least she'll be home for a couple months in the summer, and it'll be nice to see her. So sunny side up. Brian, what do you got?
Well. First off, hold on. What's she going to
Oh,
Argentina for? Is it school, work,
a
party?
study abroad. A study abroad, they call it.
I noticed I went for party immediately, but I don't know why. But no, I didn't realize they actually sent them off like that abroad. I figured there'd be like local connections or something, but not
Oh,
abroad
there's
like that.
plenty of local connections. It's just something she wants to do.
Nice. All
Her
right.
student loans are covering it.
So hang
Hey,
on. I, it's according to my calendar, it's late April. This school session has already finished.
So most schools, colleges, I don't know about, I mean, they usually end very, very early May.
Hmm.
Like as in like I mean, when I was in college, mine ended like May 5th.
Yeah, okay, but even May 5th is a couple weeks from now.
Okay, listen,
What
I don't
kind
know
of
what to
school are
tell
you
you.
sending her to?
Pitt. I'm with you. It's a little early,
Yeah.
but she's done. Hey, whatever. Hey, she didn't get much time for Christmas though. Only 2 weeks. Some people, her best friend had off from like early December to February 3rd. I mean, what is that?
Oh.
What, they
Jesus.
had to they had to finish off with the Groundhog's Day celebration. Like, what are we
Yeah, of
talking?
course. Yeah.
And hope that they could just keep doing it over and over again.
Yes. Relive this vacation as much as possible.
All right, Bryant, give it to us.
Well, I'm gonna pull a Matt. I'm
Oh,
gonna do a
no.
little bit of a sunny side up, but it's also a little bit of a poached egg. So I'm a collector, as everyone knows. It's been widely established on the show, and it's also widely established that I love Trish Stratus. So there's a figure of Trish that is very rare to find. It wasn't produced a lot. It was a Hall of Fame figure. And it's also rare because it is not a blonde Trish. It is a dark-haired Trish Stratus figure. And I'm also calling this a poached egg because I finally got it. After several years of hunting, I finally found it, got it picked up, and I'm very excited about this because it's a figure you don't find a lot, and if you do find it, it is already opened and obviously not in perfect detail. So very excited to have this into my collection that doesn't need it anymore, but I'm adding to it
Nice.
because I have a problem. But to find a figure that you don't see anywhere else, it wasn't a wide release, makes the hunt fun, and that is my sunny side up of adding more to the collection.
I got a question. How long was Trish a brunette?
She only appeared brunette at one WrestleMania, which was WrestleMania 27. And
This
that's
is
the only,
so like he's so on the money right now.
and that is the only time she was ever brunette. Was that window, that small window?
Was that a heel?
No,
Trish?
nope,
Was
it was
not.
not. No,
No, because dark hair means bad. Usually, like with a beard
usually,
or anything, you know.
yeah.
What
That
was
was
the
the
match?
Mania match where she teamed with Snooki.
Oh,
If we remember
Oh,
that, yeah,
no, she might as well have been. It would better have been a heel. You know,
you're
that
a
was
heel at that point, teaming with Snooki. So,
so she had
but
actually retired from her main run by
yes,
and
then.
that
oh
is
yeah, by then, yeah,
14 years ago.
Yeah.
terrifying, isn't it? Yeah.
Coming out of retirement 14 years ago, coming out of retirement again this year a little bit, right?
Yeah. So,
Wow.
but that's my
She
sunny
can come
side
out
up.
of retirement however many
However
times.
long she wants. She can come visit anytime she wants. I'm good with it.
Well, according no, we'll get into that later.
Yeah.
I do not have a lot of hard boiled this week, but I have two things. All right, so there's a lot of Uber driving, a lot like well, let's say Uber Eats, all that in my neighborhood. There's a lot of that. DoorDash. I mean, I've told you guys there's houses that I've seen two different bags in front of their house that they're getting. So they actually ordered from two different places. It's a lot of money, but that's not what I'm getting with. I have a street. It's not a dead end, okay? And either side gets you out of, we call them sections, get you out of our section, either side. I am at the top of the street, lane. I don't understand why anybody has to do a 3-point turn when they're parked in the street. It drives me up a wall. The time it takes to do the 3-point turn, they could have gone all the way down to the end of the street and made a right, and it would have been a lot more safe and a lot less annoying for me. Forget the 3-point turn. Abandon the 3-point turn in those situations. There's exits on both sides. Just keep going ahead. Keep going forward. Go forward and out. No, this, turn around. Get the hell out of here. You think you're saving time? You're not saving time. You're just annoying me. And you know what, Matt, we talked about this before. You get a little bit out of your rhythm, that's when you get into an accident.
We
Don't
have
like
now, aren't these people just following what the app tells them to do?
Just
Yeah.
keep moving, and guess what happens? The app resets.
This is true.
It just resets. There's no need. First off, it's illegal, right? It's illegal
Is
to
it?
do a 3-point turn in the middle of the street, isn't it?
I don't
You
know.
just
Is
let
it?
it do it. You just let it do a U-turn in the middle of the road.
I think it's illegal to do a U-turn. I don't think
Well,
it's
it's the same thing.
it's not the same thing.
It's just turning around on the street.
There are different shapes. with
Everybody's got to
different
wait
names.
for these assholes. Oh, everybody, hold up, hold up.
No, I'm a
And
defender.
the guy in the Toyota Camry has to turn around.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a Toyota Camry. It's a Honda Prelude. That's the cars we're talking about here.
Okay, the type of car is irrelevant. I'm a
No,
fan
but
of
it matters. It matters to me.
I am a fan of the 3-point turn, and I like to call it a
Ah.
K-turn.
You want a what?
I call it a K-turn.
Yeah, but you wouldn't in New Jersey.
That's what it's called.
You know what? In New Jersey, you have all those roundabouts, and no
Yeah.
one's allowed to turn around at all. You have to turn around in a roundabout. You're not even allowed to make a left at a traffic light in Jersey. They know what's up. They know what to do.
They're called jug handles.
They're also called roundabouts.
Well, roundabouts are circles. Jug handles are a jug handle.
Either
turn.
way, it's the same thing. No one's making a left.
They're not the same thing.
I don't even know what the thing Matt is talking about.
Because
What
you
is
know
that?
what? Because it's ridiculous. Because no one knows which way to go. You start going on these things. It says make left, second left in the jug handle or the roundabout, and you don't even know if you're going on a one-way street after that. After that,
False. Everybody knows.
nobody knows outside of Jersey.
I mean, there's signage. Follow the
You always
sign.
know when you're in Jersey, and you always know when someone in Jersey is in your town. Let me tell you. Boy, that was longer than it needed to be. That's what she said. But here's the second thing. So Easter weekend, all right, I resumed drinking festivities. I didn't overdo anything, okay? I had a little bit on Saturday and a little bit on Sunday. I felt nice. But guess what? Actually, well, forget Sunday. Sunday morning, I woke up. I had the worst headache I've had in about 10 years. I cannot believe the hangover I had over maybe 4 drinks. 4? I was dying. I had to take 4 Advil before it finally went away. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe what a lightweight I have become in a matter of 10 weeks. And I'm going to tell you right now, I don't think I felt right again until Tuesday. Like even Monday at work, I'm making mistakes. I'm not thinking clearly. Anyway, this is going to be a weekend only thing, and I'm going to be careful about how much I do. So hard boiled on the hangover. Felt like I did when I had my first drink at 13, 12, whatever it was. I'm sure you guys were much older.
I don't know. 13's kind of young. I don't think I was 13.
Yeah.
So can I ask a question here? As someone who likes to argue with his wife on something that Brad just brought up here. You call it Advil. I like to, as I was younger, I was growing up, we always just said, hey, go grab the aspirin.
Yeah, aspirin's fine.
But my wife yells at me because she goes, no, it's ibuprofen. It's Tylenol. It's this.
Yeah.
And I just say, I'm going to go grab aspirin.
Those are all different things.
Tylenol and aspirin are 2 different things, but Advil is aspirin and Advil are the same
False.
drug,
That
right?
is not true.
Ibuprofen is aspirin, is it not?
Aspirin is its own thing. Ibuprofen, Advil is ibuprofen. Acetaminophen is Tylenol.
See, it sounds like I'm talking to my wife right now here because this is exactly what she screams at me all the time when I'm like,
Aleve is naproxen.
see, I just always have, from when I was a little child to now, I go, hey, I'm going to go grab aspirin. And now I'm getting yelled at because, well, what are you grabbing? You got to grab the right thing. Like,
Yeah.
I don't care. I'm going to call it all aspirin and just know what I'm grabbing.
But it's not all aspirin. In fact, most of it is probably not aspirin these days. I would say Advil is probably the most common, pain relief medicine. What do you think, Brad? What's the most common?
It just depends because I'm not supposed to take ibuprofen because of my blood pressure. So aspirin or Tylenol is the safe alternative. Now, however, ibuprofen works better than Tylenol.
Yeah,
So
it
if I
does.
really have a headache, I'll do it occasionally, but it's not too often.
Yeah. I see you looking it up.
Well, because I was confused if aspirin now I'm second guessing myself. Is aspirin a brand or the type
See,
of drug?
that's to
I'm
me.
confused. And now I
To me,
forgot.
that's how I've been doing it. Aspirin is the brand that I need for the headache, so I'm just going to go grab aspirin. I don't care what the bottle says. It's
Wrong.
aspirin. All aspirin to me.
No, what you mean is headache pain relief. That's your generic term. You're using aspirin to mean that.
I mean it for any, like, my knee hurts, I'm taking aspirin.
Yeah.
My back hurts, I'm taking aspirin.
If I have physical pain, I'll take Aleve. If I have a headache, I'll take ibuprofen, Advil.
To me, it makes no difference. I'm still saying aspirin. the whole time.
Yeah, I'm not
To
real
know
happy.
there's a difference, to have my wife yell at me over me, because like to me, I'll group all of it as aspirin. To now
Okay.
hear even Brad be like, it's a leave. He's doing a
It-
leave. Okay, I don't know.
What about
Okay,
Midol? That's a big one, huh?
yeah, I don't think we take that.
yeah.
All right. Well, that was nice, everybody. So now we got a new topic. It's
New
called
topic
egg
alert.
beaters.
New topic
Egg
alert.
beaters. And guess what egg beaters is? WrestleMania recap. So we'll do this once a year.
Wow.
Once a year.
Wow.
I know I put an order here, but we can just have a discussion if you want. Matt, if
Yeah.
you want to start it off.
I don't think I have any hot takes. I think probably feel the same way as most fans. I think it was very, very good, like all the Triple H era ones have been. I've decided I like to call it WrestleMania Saturday and WrestleMania Sunday like they do instead of night one and night two. I thought Sunday was probably better, although Saturday's main event was definitely better. I think that women's triple threat was the best match of the weekend. That's Io Sky, Rhea Ripley, and Bianca Belair. Great match. There was a lot of great matches. I love that Ray Phoenix had a match. So that was a surprise. Um, I love Becky, so that was nice to see her. I don't know if I like Bailey losing out on her spot for whatever reason that might have been. And I'm not disappointed with the outcome of the main event. I'm just disappointed with how it happened.
Yeah.
Which, if you don't know what the hell we're talking about, John Cena defeated the champion Cody Rhodes with the help of rapper Travis Scott, and it has now had more world titles than anybody in wrestling history. It just it felt weird how it happened.
Okay. Go ahead, Brian.
I'm tired of the song Faint. I will
Oh
start
my
with that.
god!
Like that
So
that was overkill to me the entire
terrible.
weekend of just hearing that song. And when it hit in the main event, I immediately just went, nah, you're now a bigger heel than ever. Like, um, what I appreciated about the main event was not that Cena won, because I hate that with a passion, but that it took cheating to beat Cody, where Cody said he could out wrestle him. So he showed that, hey, your wrestling can't beat me. You have to cheat. And I appreciated that aspect of the story. Um, I loved the triple threat of night one with Punk, Roman, and Rollins. I thought that was a great story that built through the match and it had great layers to it. I hate saying I saw the turn coming, because I think we all did at that point. But I thought the story layers were there to build to bigger things later. And I think that's what we're already kind of seeing after with the night after WrestleMania as well. I was just also happy you didn't have as much of the celebrity involvement. Like they showed them in the crowd, obviously, but usually every year there's always like a celebrity. I don't count Logan Paul anymore. He's on the
No, he's
roster.
legit. Legit.
He's legit at this point.
Yeah.
But they didn't have, like, aside from the Travis Scott thing, which is what it is, you didn't have as much involvement. It was all just the actual performers. And I thought that was a nice touch this year, making it different. The other thing I thought was cool was, for a small price, which I do know the price for, you could sit on the stage. I don't know if you guys saw that, but they had seats on both sides of the stage. And then on top, there was a little middle section. You could sit up there as well.
Yeah.
And sit actually on the stage to watch the show. I thought that was a nice touch to make it different. I would not have paid what it cost to do it, because that is ungodly. Let's be realistic. But I just thought, all in all, like, I thought it was a good show and leads to, we culminated some stories, and now we're going to see what the future holds for a lot of these guys now. And I'm just excited. I was excited to see Jacob win the U.S. title. That was kind of cool as well. But it's weird to say, but like a lot of it we saw coming. Like we were kind of in our group chat texting about who we thought would win, and we were pretty accurate on a lot of it.
Yeah.
So
I think that it's such a heavily watched event these days that I think they play it a little safe, but that's okay. I think that's okay.
Brad?
Very tough act to follow from last year.
Huge. Yeah.
Last year's build and story was 3 years in the making. So I think they've it was almost impossible to top that.
Mhm.
Having said that, I'm going to tell you I enjoyed both nights. Definitely enjoyed night two better than night one, except for the main event. I thought the pacing of the matches in night one were a little slow and then abruptly ended for me. I don't know
Yes.
why. And I'm talking like a real nerd here on a not wrestling podcast, but it was very like you thought these matches were going to be 25 minutes long the way they started and the way they were going. And then all of a sudden, like there weren't a lot of false finishes, at least exciting false finishes. Like
Right.
night two, there was a lot of exciting false finishes that started right out of the bat in that first match with the three ladies, which I really liked. I know you guys don't agree with me on this other thing. So they Randy Orton did not have an opponent. Randy Orton, if you don't know who he is, been around for 20 some years in WWE. He's kind of Teflon now. Like he's he is the man. The TNA World Champion came out, Joe Hendry, and he's very over. Like fans love him, and
Huge.
he is the champion, and he lost in about a minute and a half. And as much as yes, it was a WrestleMania moment, I didn't think that was a good presentation at all. That match could have been 10 minutes. I don't understand why it had to be a minute and a half. I don't know what you were trying to prove. This is the champion of TNA. This isn't just some joke. This isn't Doink the Clown. This isn't anybody that this is supposed to be respected. I mean, plus you have this partnership with them. I just didn't agree with that at all. Uh Last year during the main event, you had overkill of past superstars that came out, but it was fun. And even as overdone as it was, everybody loved seeing The Rock and Undertaker, and back then John Cena and Seth Rollins, the Usos, uh, the Bloodline. Like, it was so enjoyable. They were protecting Cody, and then the others were protecting the Bloodline. This year we have Travis Scott, and that's it. Who is Travis Scott? I know what he is, and I know why he's there, but being there alone, absolutely not. The Rock set this up, and The Rock wasn't there. Very, very disappointing.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's disappointing. And look at the other celebrities that have like been participants in recent year. Like, okay, we just said Logan Paul, but he's evolved into a real member of the team. How about Bad Bunny? I mean, that guy was an A plus too.
yeah,
I don't
he
see
has other
Travis
things to
Scott.
do. He's all over the world.
I don't see Travis Scott being able. First of all, he's like half of your size, Brad. You know, he's
That's saying something.
yeah.
Um, I thought, I thought Stephanie Vacura, am I saying it right? Vacura,
The care.
Vacura. Well, I'm a huge fan of her, and I thought she had a great weekend. And her finishing move, or not even a finishing move, her move where she puts the woman between the legs and slams her head
Yeah.
against the canvas. So we're getting into some of the other events that went on that weekend too. Is so over now that when she starts setting up for it and it doesn't work out, people are upset. So
Yeah.
she is a future star, and as much as I like Tiffany Stratton and Charlotte, I think Stephanie's a bigger star than both right now. So overall, I still enjoyed it. I know I'm doing a lot of complaining here, but I did like it. So, and I'm happy for Jacob too. I mean, we all hung out with him as like it wasn't a paid event. He was just hanging. So
That
happy to
was
see that.
that was a very good match too.
Yeah.
I'm
But
gonna
I
throw.
think it was definitely but I thought that um LA Knight won back that title to lose it to him.
Yes.
It tells me everything to me. But
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah. Well, and I want to say this too. Like you brought up The Rock not coming in there, Brad. I think that was truly the disappointment of the whole show because I think everybody expected him to be there. He was not the centerpiece of the Cena Cody story, but he was clearly a player in it. And for people who don't follow, he did Pat McAfee show Tuesday, the Tuesday after Mania, and said he didn't want to be there because he didn't want to take the spotlight away from Cena winning 17. And my thought was, no, you took it away because you weren't there. I think you being there added to him winning, not because then everybody talked about because if you look after the show, all anyone talked about was he wasn't there. They never talked about 17. They
Yeah.
talked about
The way
Rock
they
not
set the
coming.
story was that Cena was almost working for The Rock. So that's
Yes.
what throws you completely here. So you already
Mhm.
took the spotlight away when he did that. When he almost came off as one of your minions because Cody wasn't your champion, Cena is.
Mhm.
It's the second year in a row that Rock attempted to be involved in the main event, and it didn't quite go the way that maybe he thought it would.
Right.
So,
Anyway, I was disappointed. He didn't need to fight anybody. I just wanted to see his face and cause some kind of problem, a distraction instead of Travis Scott.
I think everyone would rather have The Rock than Travis Scott at this
I mean,
point.
I
Let's
know
just
the
be
kids.
realistic.
I know that he's popular. I know and they're trying to have a different audience. And if you ever listen to Conrad Thompson, he'll tell you 100 times that's the reason. We know, we get it.
the Brad face. We know.
It's not for us. It's for everybody else. No, it is for us. Okay.
Yeah. See,
We're your diehards. We're here every year.
that's what I was kind of connected to what I was saying earlier about it being a safe show. WrestleMania is not entirely for us. Backlash
Last
is
year, I
for
felt
us.
like it was. I felt like
Yeah,
it
sure.
was last year for
No,
me.
Backlash.
Last year was, yeah. I do want to say this before we close. The one thing that did make me laugh a little bit was how going into this show, one of the biggest heels in the company is Dominic Mysterio.
Oh, wonderful.
And not only does he come out triumphant in a fatal four-way against Penta, Braun Breaker, and Finn Balor, he gets undoubtedly one of the biggest pops of the night when he wins. Like that crowd went nuts when he won that title.
He's over, man.
It's a hilarious thing to me of like everywhere else up to that point for 364 days, people are booing out of the building. But that one night, everybody loved him. And it was great.
Yeah, it was great. Awesome, guys. I know that we don't do this often. We talk a little wrestling. We kind of keep it brief, but WrestleMania is like the Super Bowl. It's like the World Series. We got to talk a little bit about it. I talked a little bit about the Super Bowl this year. We all did. So, I don't know if you remember the Eagles won. Anyway, Matt, what the hell's robin's eggs, and why did I make you do that?
Well, first of all, new topic alert.
New topic alert.
Robin's eggs is sidekicks. Like
what?
Like Batman and Robin. So I would like to talk about a little fellow you might remember by the name of Joe C. You guys know who I'm talking about when I say that? His real name, Joseph Michael Kalasia.
Is that the Kid Rock guy?
Yes.
Okay.
I did not know.
Michael Kalasia, born 1974, known by his stage name Joe C., was an American rapper, best known for being Kid Rock's hype man. He joined Rock on stage for performances and also appeared in music videos for very big hit songs Cowboy, Only God Knows Why, and Ba With Da Ba. Since childhood, now this is very interesting, guys. Since childhood, he had been treated for celiac disease, a chronic autoimmune disease that limited his height to 3 foot 9 inches and required him to take dozens of pills and undergo daily dialysis. Now, let's hit the brakes real quick. Celiac disease. Now, I hope my wife Sue doesn't mind me saying, but my wife has celiac disease, but she's a fully grown female woman, and she doesn't have the troubles that this guy had. I didn't know celiac disease could end up being so serious that it, factored into his height and all his other problems and the shortness of his life. For my wife, she just can't eat gluten. And I think that when people hear celiac disease, so I learned something in this research that it could be much more serious than just, an aversion or an allergy to gluten.
Huh.
So unfortunately, Josie left us. He died in his sleep on November 16th, 2000. Can you believe 25 years ago?
No, I can't believe it.
He was only 26 years old, which is a shame. I think
were people not eating gluten back then?
We'll say again.
Were things gluten free back in 2000?
Not the way that they are now.
So there you have it, right?
Oh, I don't know. It's
Excessive
It was
gluten.
more serious than just gluten for this guy.
Right. Well, I get that. I'm just saying anything could help, but
So well known sidekick, well loved sidekick. Kid Rock
I really
dedicated.
thought you were going to go a different direction. I thought you were going to talk about, like superheroes, maybe not Robin because that's too obvious, but man, you really did it, Matt M. You really did it.
Somebody once told me, I never know what you're gonna say, Matt.
No, I definitely don't. Now, how many guesses would you have needed there, Brian, to get that right?
That's why it took me so long to respond. When I was like, I heard the name and I was like, I think I know this, but I feel like I'm wrong.
But we
So
have a Joe C that works for the organization I work for. That it's a well-known name there, and I'm like, how does he know him?
Now let me spit out the final sentence here that you guys keep stepping on.
Oh, here we go.
Kid Rock dedicated his next album. The 2001 album Cocky was dedicated to Joe C.
Very nice.
I thought that was a nice debut for Robin's Egg.
Cheers to Joe C. And this is not alcohol.
Here's to Joe C. and this is water.
I'll just hold up my hand.
You got a drink of water, I thought.
Yeah, I do. It's a bottle. It's just a
You
water
need
bottle.
to drink it for Joe
Okay,
C.
sorry. Joe C.
Dickhead.
Don't be mean to Joe.
All right, Bryant. Omelet time.
So our omelet this week, as we discussed a few episodes back, Matt brought up Forrest Gump, and I genuinely did not realize there was a book. Really didn't.
Mhm.
And so it kind of threw me off, and I decided, we always hear of the good movies, the good books that turn into great movies, But what are some of those books that, they're great books, but the movie doesn't live up to it, or the movie takes a hard left turn that we really didn't see coming? Now, I could go endlessly down a rabbit hole on this one. There are so many out there that I have found through my own research on this, but I've limited it down to 4. I know Brad mentioned last week he's already got some of his own
I got
ideas.
4.
So,
I got 4.
And I'm sure our movie producer down here, movie executive, executive. I apologize. Movie executive probably has some ideas of his own.
Wait, was I supposed to do homework for this?
No.
No.
I just figured you probably, knowing you have them on the
I
top
wrote
of your
these
head.
down while he told us what we were doing.
Yeah, I figured you just had them on the top of your head because, movies and everything. So
Big book guy.
Yeah. I'm sure you've read hundreds of, pages in books before.
Big book guy.
So the first movie I'm going to bring up actually had another movie made. It was already remade because this version was so terrible that it already had to be saved. And now with more of the CGI to it. And I'm talking of Dune. Dune from 1984, though, not current Dune. The original Dune of 1984, starring Kyle MacLachlan, which was his first real role in Hollywood. Kyle would go on to have, he would be most known, of course, for Twin Peaks as kind of his big role, breakout role and everything. But this was his first real movie role. You also have Patrick Stewart, Brad Dourif, Linda Hunt, Sting, as you can see based on the poster here. Sting is in this, what can go wrong when Sting's involved?
Not WWE and WCW Sting.
We're talking
AEW Sting.
We're talking singer Sting.
Yeah, singer
police
Sting.
Yes. We're talking that Sting here. This movie comes out, has an all-star cast, $42 million budget, only grosses basically $30 million domestically, grosses total about $37 million worldwide. Complete flop. Doesn't even recoup the money for the budget. Basically, cheap effects, story is confusing. Even the director himself said that, he was trying to make a classic out of something that even he didn't understand, but he was trying to put his own spin on the story that he thought would grip people more and would draw them in to make them enjoy the presentation of the movie. And really just, like I said, it was a complete flop in every sense of the word. And key points of the story were missing. You're not telling the full story because you're trying to spice it up. And when you do that, you lose your audience every single time. And Currently has a 36% Rotten Tomatoes score, which is not very good.
But I've had worse.
But have had worse. And we're going to get to worse because for the next movie, we're going to go a little more modern a little bit here by going to 2010, and we're going with Gulliver's Travel starring Jack Black. This one gets a 19% Rotten Tomatoes score, has a $112 million budget, and only grosses $42 million domestic.
Look at that cast.
All-star cast. That's the craziest part of this movie not being a success is you have the leading people to make it great, really. You've got Jason Segel, Emily Blunt, Amanda Peet, Chris O'Dowd, TJ Miller, James Corden is all in this movie as comedy for a story that, Gulliver's Travel is a historic, classic story. And the problem with this version is basically you're relying on 3D technology, but you're also relying on, as most critics put it, potty humor from Jack Black, turning it to more of a farce than the story is intended to be. And, with this, it's more of, instead of kind of being that society look, it's more of a jab back as trying to paint it in a different picture than the story actually is. Excuse me. So not the most well received. And again, you have the cast to make it great, but nothing's there to tie it to the people, to make people enjoy it.
It's not that Gulliver's Travel wasn't comedic, because it had satire in it, but it's not to this level of comedic nonsense.
And that was the thing that most people said it was the character. It was how Jack Black portrayed the character that made the movie worse. Because he just, like I said, relied too much on his comedy and, as they call it, potty humor to make it, a story that really wasn't there for, that he wasn't the right person for the role, is what a lot of people said about the story. So for our next one, we're going to go into yet another comic book. This one's more of a comic book franchise, but still one that gets talked about. And we're going to go 2003 League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. This would also be marked for a different reason, which is the star presence, the main arc of this movie, as you can even see by the poster. It's built around Sean Connery. This is Sean Connery's last movie. This is the last movie he ever made. It is a 16% on the Rotten Tomatoes scale. And basically, Sean Connery's even admitted that everyone begged him into this because they thought by having him, the movie would be better. And as good as Sean Connery is, even he can't save this. Basically, the story is, it's a graphic novel of a group of people who defend the British Empire. The movie basically, instead of taking the extraordinary, taking off the name, the extraordinary feats of these people, just made them ordinary people. Nothing great about them. And they just kind of made them people who were just there to defend the empire. Nothing great about it. It lacked character development, is what a lot of people said about this. And, even with Sean Connery, you can't save this story. And, with this movie, it was a success more overseas, obviously, based with British Empire. It had a lot more success out there. But even, people like one of the men who is one of the authors and illustrators of the story says the reason it failed is because they did not respect the sources and the story that it came from. And even the director said kind of same thing with, Dune, was he had the story, but wanted to make it more cinematic. And sometimes the book is cinematic enough that you don't need to make the changes to it. So have you guys either of you seen this movie?
I did not.
I have not seen any of the movies that you've talked about.
My gosh. Well, now I'm impressed. So the last one, I'm confident at least one of you has probably seen. I would hope so anyway, but if not, I'm sure you've heard enough stories about it, because we're going to go to 2003. And we're going to talk about The Cat in the Hat. This is Mike Myers starring in The Cat in the Hat. And it is considered one of the worst book adaptations in cinema history. It has a 10% score on Rotten Tomatoes. It had basically a budget of 109 million, score based and got 100 million domestically, 32 million overseas, so just above what it was making. The movie is built around an imaginary story that, because you're taking from the book, you need to create it to cinema. Obviously, you can't, take 20 pages and make it into a 90-minute movie. So the biggest piece against Cat in the Hat is more of I don't know how I want to put this properly, the sexual innuendo that's in a lot of Mike Myers jokes. That has kind of been the piece that a lot of people go back to, of, the mature themes, of him trying to spice up the story for movie purposes. And that's really where the disconnect happens with a lot of people, because, you take your kids to this movie thinking, oh, it's the Cat in the Hat. And you have these mature jokes, these mature suggestions and innuendos. And it's what really tanked the movie for most box office, families. You're not going to take your kid to see this story when, all of a sudden the Cat in the Hat breaks out talking about the birds and the bees. This is one of the downfalls of Mike Myers' career, as a lot of people say it. But sadly enough, I will say I actually kind of enjoyed the movie.
You and Jeffrey Lyons.
Yeah, we're the only ones. But I thought the story was there. That it's not it's not the story. It's more of just the craziness of the Cat in the Hat that I enjoyed. Mike Myers' portrayal I thought was hilarious. But again, as an older person, it's probably geared to me, not kids, but is how he was playing it. So, but it's one of these movies, again, as I mentioned, at 10% score, it's considered one of the biggest flops. Not the biggest, but one of them. And like I said, it's interesting to see how you take this. I will say that in my research for this, I did find out that because of this movie, the widow of Dr. Seuss put a order out saying that she will never allow his books to be made into movies again.
Yeah. Well, I mean, The Grinch was successful.
Yeah.
She included The Grinch in that, by the way.
Because, well, it isn't his 20 pages either.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Yeah. There have been other movies of Dr. Seuss since that.
Horton says a who? Horton here's a who?
Not live action versions. I apologize. Live action versions. So you can do. She's okay with animated, but live action, she draws a line.
Because this is a Dr. Seuss house that I live in. We love Dr. Seuss. I love Dr. Seuss.
Yeah.
There's Lorax is an animated film, somewhat recent. It could be 10 years old.
Yeah.
And then there's a Grinch animated with Benedict Cumberbatch.
Yeah, she wanted to stop.
Strange, if you don't know who that is.
Yeah, she wanted to stop the live action versions.
Yeah,
is what she was against. So,
out of all the movies you listed, that is the only one I've seen, and I've seen it because
that's why I said I figured one of you had seen it.
I live in the Cat in the Hat. It's not very good. It's one of those. It's one of those movies where like the issue is the writing.
Oh yeah,
about that. Like the humor is very crude, and like cheap. And is this supposed to be for kids, or are you attempting to entertain grown-ups? I have that issue with a lot of movies that are meant for children. Like there's a smart way to do double entendres and stuff. Like I think SpongeBob is a good example. Any child can enjoy it and nothing's going over their head, but adults can enjoy it too because it's smart. But then there's like cheap shots like this movie we're talking about here, where it's like, who are you actually writing this for? So.
Right. And that's where the disconnect was. And that's why I think it was so universally panned, is because you didn't know the audience you were going for. Like you have your PR telling you it's for kids, and then you go to the movie and it's clearly not, like without writing style. So
that's like the original Hulk. Well, not original, but I guess it was early 2000s, the Hulk that came out. The Toys R Us is completely filled with Hulk toys. That movie is 3 hours long, and it's an hour of absolutely nothing going on. And then the second hour, it's a little bit scary. It wasn't geared towards kids. They do that a lot. They
Yeah.
don't know who their audience is sometimes, but they just wanted to sell the toy. I get it, but
Right.
that kid did not enjoy the movie. I promise you.
Yep. So
Is that the Ed Norton one?
No, that's before Ed Norton. That's the
Yeah.
Banyan, Eric
Oh, Eric
Bana.
Bana.
yeah.
Bana. Thank you.
Yep.
Yeah. Not. I mean, it's an origin story. Origin stories are tough for kids.
Yes. So now, Brad, I know you said you wrote some down. What ones?
Yeah,
did you have?
I'll be brief, but
No, by all means.
two of them are Stephen King books. One is actually the opposite. One of them's a terrible book and an okay movie, and one of them's a very good book and a terrible movie. Christine, the book, is a decent is terrible. You're reading a book about a car crash. The car is alive, is what it is. It just doesn't translate to me in the book, but in a movie setting, it's exciting. It's more the excitement of a car crash, if you know what I mean, when someone's locked in it. I don't feel that was done well with the pages. But the opposite effect was thinner. It was a book of part of the Bachman books, and it was about a man who had a curse put on him. He was a huge man, and then he got thinner and thinner and thinner and thinner. The book was just great with his torture, what he was going through, everything like that. But in the movie, it's just left a lot of that out. Like I'm least glad they explained why it was happening, but it was very, very weak. The other two, the Da Vinci Code, very, very popular book in its time, made the movie with Tom Hanks. They got the right guy. Problem is, for me at least, a lot of what's in the Da Vinci Code is in his mind. He's figuring things out in his mind. There's hundreds of pages of him in his mind. You can't do that on a screen. And they would show actually dots connecting. Like, I get it. I get this. That's how they had to do it because there was so much of internal monologue. Finally, Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter. It was fun. It was a fun book. But when you actually look on the screen and see Abraham Lincoln killing vampires, it
Makes
just
no sense.
it makes no sense.
Okay.
But those books are very popular.
That was a book, and you've read it?
I love that book.
Oh my God.
And I love all that guy writes. It's very clever stuff. You know, what was it? Pride, Prejudice, and Zombies?
Yep.
Like,
There's another one.
basically, it's the exact same book, and he just added zombies into certain parts. I don't know. It was interesting. But anyway, those were my four.
I was actually I thought about using the Da Vinci Code. It is on a lot of the lists that I have looked into. So it is on there. But I thought, I'd kind of pick some other obscure. Matt,
If you didn't see the book, if you didn't read the book, you're better off.
Oh yeah, and that's what a lot of these are. Is sometimes it's with some of these movies, yes, if the movie's good, you're okay, but like if you've read the book, you lose it because another one that's on the list is Twilight.
And people love Twilight,
and people love it. They love the books, but when you ask them about it, the movie's god awful to them because it doesn't capture what the book is, and that's sometimes what is lost. Is for examples that I gave here of where the book is great, but the movie loses the essence of the book. So
you like Twilights?
No, of course not.
Oh, so you don't have a team? You're not on one of the teams?
No, but my mom is, and she will give me verbatim dictations of all the books and the movies. So, Matt, do you have any examples of anything?
I wrote a couple of things down. I wrote a couple things.
Please, of course.
Yeah, I've never seen Dune. I know that it was a older movie originally, and now there's a few out now. I think more than one, and I think the one that just came out was hugely successful and nominated for Best Picture and won Academy Awards.
It was, yeah.
No, the one now, yeah.
Yeah, the one now is fantastic, yeah.
I have absolutely no idea what it is. There's Dune, there's Tron, and it's just all the same to me. Mad Max, that's all the same. Whatever that is all the same to me.
That is not the same.
Not even close.
That is not the same.
Blade Runner, I don't know. It's all the same.
Oh my God.
Wow.
And you're a movie person. What are you doing?
He's not. He's just an executive.
That's true. He's just the executive.
Keep it in,
I just rubber stamp things.
There it is.
It goes in on Wednesdays.
So I did think of one that fits the bill on what we're talking about. I think as my monitor goes away again. Can you still hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So the Silence of the Lambs series, there's more than one book about Hannibal Lecter or that string of guys. And before the Silence of the Lambs movie came out with Anthony Hopkins, there was a movie prior to that called Manhunter,
Mm-hmm.
based on one of the books, which I do not I know I saw it, and it was like not a big Hollywood thing, even though it had Hollywood power behind it. And I think it was a bit of a dud. And then Silence of the Lambs was obviously a huge classic. And then later they made Red Dragon, which I also thought was very good, which was really
Very
a
good.
remake of Manhunter. So I think
Yeah.
Manhunter was the failure getting from a book to a movie.
Yeah, it's a good point. I did like those movies. They made a series, it was awful. But yeah.
Oh, the Hannibal series?
Yeah, it was okay. Okay, I should say awful. It
Oh,
was okay at best.
I thought it was not cut out for network TV.
Right. You know what? You're probably right. Was streaming around then?
Not really,
So
no.
you had
Maybe,
HBO and stuff,
maybe,
but did they have
Yeah,
that's
you had
probably
like
not?
yeah, not with that, no.
Because that's something they do now. They cancel a show, maybe put it on streaming and give it more of an edge.
well, it was a
Mm.
long enough then. I thought the acting and story was very good, but it was dark and slow, and that's
We
tough.
watched it. We watched it,
I
but
think it
I
was on
thought it was
NBC.
disappointing, and they canceled it. So
Mm.
Yeah, no, if that had come out now, it would be on Peacock instead of NBC.
I
And
know
then,
that'd be a Hulu show.
well, it was an NBC show, I'm pretty sure. And
I'd have to pick what account I want to pick, you know.
NBC is
Yeah.
Peacock. So there you go. Anywho,
Yeah. Well,
All
like I
right.
said, we can go
Oh,
with many
sorry.
more movies. I'll probably pick this up again later because there's many
I
more
like
ways
it.
we can go with this. So, Brad, back to you, buddy.
All right. So what are we doing? I don't know. Let me find my outline. Oh, there it is.
It's
Over
printed.
easy eggs. So who's over with you this week, Matt?
So I'm going to do a what is over with me.
Ah,
And it is a computer function. Now, I spend a lot of my time on the computer for work, for play, whatever. Um, what you're starting to see is that little copy button appearing everywhere in your travels. You know that icon? It looks like two sheets of paper sitting on top of each other, like a copy or a facsimile. And I find that I am often having to copy words or phrases and paste them elsewhere. And you got to do your double click or your triple click and your right click and choose the right function. Or just within the last few months, I'm starting to see it everywhere. And now you're going to start seeing it everywhere. Just click on that little copy button, bro. Boom. Done. Over with me. Copy,
full
copy,
of
copy.
excitement.
I'm all about saving clicks. And that saves me clicks.
All right. I'll keep my eyes open for that. Um, so again, with me this week, it's not who's over me, it's what. And I'll tell you what's over with me. Now, again, I said that Easter weekend. Well, my wife and I went to brunch, and brunch is over with me. Brunch has made a huge comeback. Like it's come back slowly, and now it's everywhere. Everywhere has brunch. Brunch is drinks, brunch is a different menu, but then you can still get the same menu. I'm all about brunch. I had myself a Bloody Mary, and actually, I don't even know if the ibuprofen worked. I think it may have been the Bloody Mary that worked. Still screwed me up for Monday, Tuesday, but I did have some great brunch, and I think I want to do brunch again this weekend.
Brunch is the
Brunch,
best.
brunch it is.
Brunch is the best.
I mean, I like to go to someone's house and have brunch. I like to go to a restaurant and have brunch. I might just have brunch at home. Who knows? I mean, the possibilities are endless.
It could be whatever you want. It could be a
It could be with
flatbread
everybody. It
pizza,
could be any food. It could be any food you want.
anything you want.
Anything is brunch. It's whatever.
It could be eggs. It could be a flatbread pizza. It could
I
be
had a flatbread with eggs on it. It was insanity. All right, Bryant, what's over with you?
Well, now I feel ridiculous because you've done what's over and I'm going with a who's over. So I don't feel ridiculous now. Who's over with me this week? I'm going to keep the wrestling theme going here.
I knew it. That's why I didn't do it.
Of course. Who's over with me this week? It would be Braun Breaker Braun Breaker has been on a dynamite roll lately. He's been the Intercontinental Champion for the last several months. Has the slip up, as we mentioned earlier in the show. It's Dom Mysterio. Monday Night Raw attacks Roman Reigns, the big star in the company, attacks Roman Reigns, defends Paul Heyman, aligns himself with Seth Rollins, aligns himself with Paul Heyman. The sky is the limit for this guy. He has so much freakish athletic ability, so much like he is the prototype of what you want a star to be. And apparently, because it's mentioned, I believe 900 times per show, he runs 23 miles an hour. I don't know if you guys are aware of that, but Michael Cole makes sure to mention it every 2 seconds. So Braun Breaker's over with me because I just see him reaching that upper echelon by the end. I'm going to say it, by the end of the year. I put it in the group chat that Braun Breaker will be the one to win the world title from Jey Uso. I do believe that. I'm sticking to it. He's just on that skyward, upward trajectory. He's on a roll, and that's who's over with me.
Love it. I agree.
Yeah. I think he's got a slight problem with the name. It should probably be Brunch Breaker or Braun Brunch.
There it is.
And then we're talking.
I'm convinced that the first thing Paul Heyman's going to do come next week is drop that name and going to call him Braun Steiner. I do believe they're going to embrace the Steiner name.
Hey, that's actually a great suggestion. Whatever it may be, you've got the voice for speaking for him now. Perfect opportunity to erase that bit of his name that is a little silly.
Yeah.
Very good suggestion.
And just think of the discounts in the WWE shop.
Exactly. That's
the biggest all over. $5 shirts.
That's all Brad right there.
Breaker. We're getting 5 of them.
Heck yeah.
Very good, guys. That was a great over easy. So which brings me to, what is it called? Duck eggs? Well, but what is it really, Matt? It's a Saturday Night Live spot?
It is the SNL slot.
Well, guess what? We're going to do top 50 facts from Saturday Night Live.
50?
Yeah.
That's too many.
Oh, well, we'll see how quickly I can do them.
Oh, God.
But I'm going to tell you this much.
50, all 50.
I love these. Some of these I don't even understand. So there will need to be duck eggs on some of these individually someday. This opens up a whole new Saturday Night Live segment.
Love it.
All right, first, Saturday Night Live's existence is partly due to Johnny Carson's desire for more vacation days. Gilda Radner was Saturday Night Live's first official cast member. Saturday Night premiered on NBC's Saturday Night. Chevy Chase was originally hired as a Saturday Night Live writer. Chevy Chase was the first person to deliver SNL's iconic intro line. Richard Belzer warmed up the Saturday Night Live audience during season 1. Announcer Don Pardo made a mistake during Saturday Night Live's premiere episode. SNL cast members were originally paid $750 per week. Will Ferrell, Saturday Night Live's highest paid cast member of all time. At one time, not all time. Saturday Night Live once went to Mardi Gras. Jim Carrey auditioned for Saturday Night Live twice and was rejected twice. A Halloween episode of Saturday Night Live put fear into the audience. Chimpanzees once ran wild on Saturday Night Live. Anthony and Michael Hall was Saturday Night Live's youngest ever cast member. The New York Mets once got an episode of Saturday Night Live canceled. Adam McKay auditioned to be part of Saturday Night Live's cast. Well, thank God I found that out. Cares. Arnold Schwarzenegger's last action hero killed a Saturday Night Live movie starring Hans and Franz. Robert Smigel has written a handful of unproduced Saturday Night Live movies. Saturday Night Live's Fest Strunk brothers were developed as 2 separate characters. Saturday Night Live wasn't the first to have deep thoughts. But who was? Like, you don't get to know. Gilbert Gottfried beat out Paul Rubens for a spot on Saturday Night Live. Eddie Murphy was desperate to be on Saturday Night Live. Saturday Night Live made AT&T a small fortune. It's Pat is the least successful Saturday Night Live movie of all time, and the book is better. No, Brian, I'm kidding. Conan O'Brien wasn't a fan of Mike Myers' Wayne Campbell, as you know him as Wayne's World. Jeff Ross was considered as a replacement for Colin Quinn on Weekend Update. Larry David abruptly quit as Saturday Night Live writer, then pretended he never did it. Chris Parnell was fired from Saturday Night Live twice. One episode of Saturday Night Live was sponsored by just one advertiser, but they couldn't tell me what it was. Mindy Kaling reluctantly turned down the chance to write for Saturday Night Live. Boy, I'm glad that made the top 30. Nora Dunn refused to share the Saturday Night Live stage with Andrew Dice Clay. A fake Peeper script made the rounds in Hollywood. Chris Farley idolized fellow SNL star John Belushi. Lorne Michaels thought Sinead O'Connor's infamous Saturday Night Live photo ripping incident was brave. Ripping, I'm sorry. A Saturday Night Live movie almost happened. Well, it has happened since. Kenan Thompson was the first Saturday Night Live cast member who was born after the show premiered. Jennifer Aniston claimed she was offered a spot on Saturday Night Live. Aubrey Plaza was an intern for Saturday Night Live. The Beatles, or at least half of them, almost reunited on Saturday Night Live as a gag. SNL cast and crew have a name for people who are good sports about being parodied. Whatever it is,
And
you have to find out one day. Catherine O'Hara signed on as a Saturday Night Live cast member, but left before the season even began. I think it was for laughing. During the 2007 Writers Guild of American strike, Saturday Night Live didn't air, but the cast did put on the show anyway. John Hamm believes Saturday Night Live gave him a long-term career. Daryl Hammond holds an important Saturday Night Live record. What is it?
What's the record? What did he do?
Important. The work is mysterious and important.
This is the greatest segment ever. Keep going. I want to hear the rest of the list.
Pretty
now.
good SNL segment.
Keep going, Brad.
All right. Saturday Night Live's audience voted to ban Andrew Kaufman or Andy from the show. Lorne Michaels thought Steven Seagal was a jerk. Daryl Hammond does a great. I need a timeout.
It's a great impression. I hope that's what it says.
Yeah, who cares?
They all do impressions.
That's the whole
They all
show.
do great impressions. That's why they're on the show.
You know, I did read these ahead of time.
I'm questioning if you did.
I didn't think it was this funny. Alec Baldwin holds the record for Saturday Night Live hosting duties. Saturday Night Live has got some serious political clout. Saturday Night Live still uses cue cards. Oh, there you have it.
Yeah. Nice.
That one I didn't. Of all of that, I knew that last one for sure.
Yeah,
well,
we all knew that.
the union thing.
I don't know why I lost it. I lost it on the show like that.
Pretty good. I have two. There's a lot in there to talk about, but two things I'm going to pull out of there. First of all, it's Robert Smigel is his
Isn't
name.
that what I said?
He said Smigel. And you shall say it Smigel henceforth and treat the man with respect. That's
Oh,
comic
but there's
book.
only one G. Why isn't the I long?
The other thing I wanted to say is Anthony Michael Hall was a cast member on SNL.
Has to
I
be
knew
when
that,
he
yeah. Yeah.
It has to be when he was either in 16 Candles or The Breakfast Club, right?
Yeah, it's during that time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. I didn't.
You know what? We're running a little long thanks to the segment that I couldn't get through in the last 10. Why don't you hit us with the socials, Matt?
I will. Hang in there with me here.
You're gone.
Yeah.
You're in a mountain.
You
Am I
are
back?
old. I do know that.
Am I back?
You are.
Very bright.
Well, you know what? This has been I'd say, pretty hilarious episode of Three Eggs Are Better Than One. We are definitely not better as the book. We are cooking up every Monday morning at 6:30 a.m. Eastern on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and everywhere else you get your podcasts. Find us on YouTube at 3 Eggs Are Better Than One, the number 3, the letter R, the number 1. Follow us on X, Blue Sky, Instagram, and TikTok at 3 Eggs Are Better. That's the number 3, the letter R. And our individual accounts at YesManBrad, at BHaremza, and I am at Purple Shirt Guy without the I. How about some 5-star reviews? I'm looking at you, Eric B. Next is my topic, and it'll be the return of Matt M's questions. Yes, that's right. I will have very, very, very general and unimportant questions for my other eggs. No preparation needed. And that's all I got to say.
All right, Bryant, will you go ahead and take us home?
Well, we hope you guys have had some good laughs tonight, like we have, and hope you've enjoyed the show here. Hope you've enjoyed hearing about WrestleMania, hearing about maybe some books you guys want to try instead of watching some movies, I guess. I don't know here. We thank you guys for joining us as always. The egg timer's been set. We'll see you guys next week.